Obviously we're in the Biden economy, which sucks. We've got a weakening economy, skyrocketing inflation, sky high gas prices, a labor crunch, an ongoing supply chain crisis. The markets are roiled. It looks like we're heading into a recession. All of that being said, there is still chatter that we're hearing from the Democrats that they would like to continue to pass more spending, and that they're trying to negotiate with Manchin and some others about getting at least some elements of Build Back Better through before the election, or at least before the end of the year. And they're talking about an additional $1.2 or $1.3 trillion in spending. What are you hearing, and what can you tell us?
We've heard about this, but I have to say, Monica, I watched you on TV the other night, and you were talking about energy, and you said this is deliberate, and you're absolutely right. The rising cost of gasoline, which actually contributes greatly to the inflation and the spending and all that together, this is deliberate. I've had Democrats tell me, and maybe leftists, not middle center left Democrats, or the more moderate types. I've had people say this to me for years, constituents on the far left or just on the left, who've come to me and said, we need to have gas. And this is back when gas was like $2-3 a gallon. We need to get to $6, $7, and $8 because people will then realize they can't just go down to the convenience store and buy milk 3 times a week. They will have to be forced to stay home, to ride bicycles, to use hay bales as insulation, put solar panels on their roofs, and buy a windmill for their backyard. I mean, they actually believe this stuff. They don't understand that energy is prosperity and that we are going to have a disaster. They continue to spend. They continue to attack fossil fuels. They continue to attack any other viable energy. We have a crisis with energy, which is causing all of this. It's really the heart of everything. If we do not have reliable energy, we will continue to decline as a nation. You will continue to see supply chains problems. You will continue to see inflation. And yes, we will end up in a recession. And it's the biggest contributor to this is the war on energy.
Yes, absolutely. And the point that I was making on TV when you saw me, Claudia, is that the reason they continue to attack energy is because it's the biggest of them all. It's the biggest lever that's available to them to fundamentally transform the nation. So while they talk about the Green New Deal and climate change and the environment, and I guess they care about some of that, but that's not really what this is about. This is about re-engineering the economy into a more socialist, collectivist model, and energy is the biggest thing that they can use. It's the biggest weapon, which is why they're constantly at it. So let me just
agree.
So are you hearing about new spending, new tax hikes?
We've heard some discussion about the Build Back Better in some form or another coming through. We've heard that Manchin is not supportive of it, or Sinema, who are the 2 senators, who, by the way, do not have moderate voting records. They both have fairly far left voting records, but they're holding strong on the filibuster, which is preventing this whole house of cards under the Biden administration from really just destroying the United States. And I got to tell you, I agree with you. This is really, this whole, with the Green New Deal, all this stuff, really, it's really about power and control, and really turning us into, the people at the top are the ones that are creating these green energy companies. These private equity firms are creating, and some of them are well-intentioned, but they're creating these green energy firms, and the government money is being plunged into those firms. And so these very, very wealthy elites are going to end up controlling the world in a lot of ways if they continue on this path.
Yeah.
They don't care about inflation or cost.